Have you ever heard the maxim, good, fast, cheap, pick two? We will be applying this common business principle to dating and marriage relationships, so stick around. First, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell for notifications.
This video is sponsored by Canyon Foot and Ankle. From simple nail care to advanced trauma and reconstructive care, their podiatrists have the training and skills needed to resolve even the most complex cases. Treat your feet to the exceptional care they deserve. The maxim good, fast, cheap is something businesses will say to their clients to manage expectations. It is a common law of business balance to express that as humans living on planet Earth, we have to prioritize what is most important, and it helps us know what our ideal client ultimately wants. The expression, "you get what you pay for," in time and money, is closely related to this principle, and it applies to more than just business-client relationships.
You know, Cathy, I was first introduced to this concept when a guy who built a house for me in the state of Washington, his name was Dan, said, when you build a house, remember three things: good, fast, cheap, pick two. And he said, if it's good and cheap, it ain't gonna be fast. If it's good and fast, it ain't gonna be cheap. If it's, let's see, what's the other one?
If it's fast and cheap, it ain't gonna
It's gonna be good. That's right. And that has generally turned out to be true, both in building homes and in life.
Well, let's first explore how it applies to dating specifically. Fast and cheap. So that's our first option. Ain't gonna be good, right? It leads to one-night stands and ultimately low-quality relationships.
Right, and then good and cheap. A good relationship without much investment takes a long time to develop, right?
And then the third option, good and fast. A good relationship that doesn't really have time to develop, it can get expensive to woo someone quickly. And even more so if divorce happens after a shotgun wedding and the marriage doesn't make it.
Right, and it may be expensive in other ways too, like you spend a whole lot of time every minute of the day together and employment suffers and other things can go wrong.
So the question is, which is best?
Well, it depends on the stage of the relationship development and even life. One, fast and cheap is rarely going to lead us to the high quality relationship that our hearts really desire. However, in early dating, asking someone out for a soda can be a decent way to get to know somebody a little bit and determine if you want to invest further.
Right, so two, good and cheap, can be helpful to sort out who's worth investing more time and money in. For a while, allowing time to help you see a person through all sorts of scenarios is a good thing. So in later stages, after a wise amount of time has passed, number three, good and fast, may become more preferable once an investment has been made in an engagement ring.
Right. Now let's explore how this applies in marriage. Number one, fast and cheap. Well, that leads to growing more and more distant and ultimately becoming disillusioned, as the investment that you have to make to play catch up and getting to know each other after you're already living together and experiencing all the pressures of marriage, you're going to pay for it. It's expensive. It might have been fast and cheap, but it's not cheap once you get into it.
Well, and I was also thinking that fast and cheap in marriage is when you stop prioritizing the marriage. And so people in that scenario become distant. They get disconnected. They fall out of love and they think that they're just victims of that rather than, oh, we didn't prioritize time and money into this relationship so that it could be good.
Right, and I can tell you as a lawyer, in the long run, it ain't cheap if you get a divorce. It's super expensive.
You're like putting off the investment for something a lot less fun.
Right.
Than date nights and things that keep your love alive.
Right, so now for good and cheap, that's best for couples who might have plenty of time but not a lot of money. And so they can spend more time together without having to invest as much financially.
Right. Well, and number 3, good and fast, is best for couples who have plenty of money, but time is limited.
Right, like if you have a really demanding career, you may want to try to make the time you do have together quality. And you may want to spend your money on an oil change rather than changing your own oil because you want to spend the time you would have spent changing your own oil with your spouse. Good relationships and marriages are always going to be expensive in one way or another, on time or money. So maximize whichever one is in the highest supply to support the goodness of your relationship. Hey, we're living in a fallen world where the ideal of having all 3 simply doesn't exist. We get to choose 2. What do you think, Cathy?
I hate it, but it's true. I'm one of those people that would like to get 3, and I really try, but alas, there is always the priority order, and whether we choose it intentionally or not, those priorities do happen, and one of them will always naturally suffer. So it's a matter of, do we want to decide which one intentionally? And do we ever really want to sacrifice good where it matters?
Right. Time and cost aren't going to both be optimized without impairing your quality. So pick the 2 that are most important and allow the third to be flexible. When it comes to relationships that matter, we always recommend having good as one of the 2 priorities. Out of the 3 options, fast and cheap, good and cheap, good and fast, which one works best for you?
Please share your thoughts with us in the comments, and remember, anytime is a great time for more love in your life. Thanks for joining us for another week on LilyTube. If you enjoy what you see, support us by liking, commenting, and sharing your favorite videos with others who could benefit.
As single life and relationship coaches, our mission is to help single adults intentionally heal from loss to create a happy life and healthy relationships. Keep coming back and we'll keep you encouraged. Each week, we provide new and refreshing perspectives on the challenges and opportunities of mid-single life.
If you'd like to immerse yourself deeper into your own personal development and relationship journey, visit our website at loveinlateryears.com for even more resources. Don't take on divorce recovery and other relationship loss and single life alone. We are here for you.